14 greatest shooting guards in NBA history.
What's going on, Titanic? This is the Voice of Knowledge feed, back at you with another video.
Number 14, Klay Thompson. On any other team, Klay Thompson would be the featured player while likely averaging at least 5 more points per game. But he happens to be on the Golden State Warriors, who are one of the best teams in recent memory. With the addition of former MVP Kevin Durant, his role has been reduced even more, but you'll never hear him complaining. His unique, unselfish attitude has been invaluable to his team. Not only is Thompson one of the best shooters in the game, but he is considered perhaps the best perimeter defender around. His unique skill set makes him, along with LeBron James and Kawhi Leonard, one of the game's premier two-way players. Sure, he's only played 7 years in the league, so his inclusion on this list may be a bit premature. But if his career continues on the trajectory that it appears to be headed, he will without a doubt be an all-time great shooting guard. Number 13, Manu Ginobili. Who in NBA history is a better left-handed player than Manu Ginobili? Sure, you could say Bill Russell, David Robinson, Nate Tiny Archibald, or James Harden, but the fact that he's even in the conversation is a testament to how great a player he was and remains to this day. He came into the league for the San Antonio Spurs in the 2002-03 season. Though he would struggle with injury at first, as he healed, he became a key scoring component and helped guide the team to their second ever championship. Along with franchise pillars Tim Duncan and Tony Parker, he would go on to win 3 more championships. Though he's the ripe age of 40, Ginobili still plays a vital role on the Spurs, who remains a championship contender. It's only his unselfish play and willingness to come off the bench that have hurt his career numbers and make them seem underwhelming. Number 12, Pete Maravich. Pistol Pete was one of the NBA's finest showmen and greatest players of the 70s. His flashy style and remarkable individual plays fascinated adoring fans, but the lack of success that his teams experienced were a constant source of criticism throughout his career. He loved to shoot the long ball in a league that didn't have a three-point line for the majority of his career, so who knows how many more points he would have scored. A bad knee would force Pistol Pete to retire after 10 years in the NBA, and he would pass away at the age of 40 after suffering a heart attack during a 3-on-3 pickup game. Number 11, Mitch Richmond. One of the threesome, the M, that made up the Run TMC in Golden State, Mitch Richmond provided the consistent scoring that the team's fast-paced offense required. In his first year, he averaged a staggering 22 points per game and won the Rookie of the Year award. His slashing ability complemented Tim Hardaway's exceptional passing skills, and Chris Mullin's deadly accurate jump shot perfectly. After 3 years in Golden State, he would go on to have a solid career that saw him average 21 points per game overall and win a championship with the Lakers in 2002, though he won that ring mostly by riding the bench. Number 10, Vince Carter. The best dunker of all time will probably be the lasting legacy of Vince Carter. His high-flying antics early in his career with the Toronto Raptors inspired a generation of Canadian athletes to pick up basketball. Though he has yet to win an NBA championship, he has plenty of space filled in his trophy case. He won Rookie of the Year in 1999 and the Slam Dunk Contest the following year. His various assaults on the rim during that 2000 contest became legendary, and anyone watching remembers the excitement and electricity he brought to the arena that night. He's one of 6 players to average 20 points, 4 rebounds, and 3 assists over 10 straight seasons. As he aged, his brilliant skills allowed him to change his game and become more of a spot-up shooter. As a result, he is one of only 5 players to make at least 2,000 three-pointers. Remarkably, at 40 years old, Vince Carter continues to contribute meaningful minutes along with the occasional dunk as a member of the Sacramento Kings. Number 9, Clyde Drexler. Clyde the Glide Drexler's explosive athleticism and effortless drive to the basket made him one of the best scoring guards ever. His personal successes never translated to a championship in the first part of his career with the Portland Trail Blazers, though the team would make 3 deep playoff runs. He was traded to the Houston Rockets, where he would be reunited with his college teammate from Houston and all-time great center, Hakeem Olajuwon. The team instantly clicked and won 2 consecutive championships, even though that was during the 2 years that Michael Jordan retired from the league to play baseball. Number 8, Sam Jones. Bill Russell, John Havlicek, and Bob Cousy get more of the pub for their involvement with the juggernaut Celtics of the 50s and 60s. Those teams would have had serious problems though, and perhaps a few less rings without the contributions of their Swiss Army knife shooting guard, Sam Jones. Known to be extremely coachable and willing to do anything Red Auerbach asked him, Jones was drafted 8th overall in 1957. He struggled through his first few years in the league before finally breaking into the starting lineup during the 1960 and 61 season. He averaged 15 points that year and performed brilliantly. The next season, he averaged 18 points and began to gain the reputation as a clutch player. In the 1962 playoffs, he buried Wilt Chamberlain in the Philadelphia Warriors with a last-second game-winning jumper in Game 7. After the game, Wilt the Stilt would call Jones Boston's best player. Overall, he averaged 18 points a game and won 10 championships. In 1983, he was elected into the Basketball Hall of Fame. Number 7. Reggie Miller. Today, Reggie Miller is easy to find on TV as he's a part of TNT's broadcasting crew. He took his position behind a mic after ending a brilliant 18-year career with the Indiana Pacers. Though his jump shot was unconventional and not the prettiest, it was extremely effective. He retired with the most three-pointers made, a record that has since been passed by Ray Allen, and most likely will be passed by Klay Thompson and Steph Curry. Though he fell just short of leading the Pacers to a championship, his defining moment came in a playoff game against his arch-rival, the New York Knicks. He scored 8 points in 9 seconds, shocking the Knicks and stealing Game 1 of the Eastern Conference semifinals before they would go on to win the series in 7. The stretch of brilliant play cemented Reggie as one of New York's most hated athletes and one of the game's greatest clutch performers. Number 6. George Gervin. George Gervin was magic on the offensive end. He could knock down 20-foot jumpers with silky smoothness, or just as easily drive to the basket for either a graceful finger roll or a sneaky power dunk. Only Wilt Chamberlain and Michael Jordan won more scoring titles in their careers than Gervin's 4. Gervin's path to the NBA looked unlikely when he was a kid growing up in poverty in Detroit. He played for Long Beach State and legendary coach Jerry Tarkanian before transferring to Eastern Michigan, where he would slug a player mid-game and act like that would get him thrown off the team. With nowhere else to play, Gervin joined the Eastern Basketball Association. He dominated the lesser competition of this league before finally getting a chance at the ABA with the San Antonio Spurs, who would go on to join the NBA shortly after his arrival. Number 5. Ray Allen. Ray Allen and his remarkable shooting abilities were ahead of their time. Today, seemingly every player, even the bigs, step back to shoot from behind the arc, which is in large part the same way Allen made a living over his brilliant 18-year career. In his early days with the Milwaukee Bucks and the Seattle Supersonics, Allen used his athleticism in conjunction with his great shot to be the team's go-to player. He was asked to change his role for the Boston Celtics and the Miami Heat, and he did so, becoming a deadly spot-up shooter whose contributions were invaluable to 2 championship teams. His nearly 3,000 three-pointers are tops all time. Both his career free throw percentage at 89% and three-point field goal percentage at 40% rank amongst the best ever. Number 4. Dwayne Wade. Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant are in a league of their own when it comes to ranking shooting guards. But after these 2 legends, it's hard to find an all-around better 2-guard than Dwayne Wade. Drafted 5th in the loaded 2003 NBA draft by the Heat, Wade endeared himself to the Miami fans with his skills and hustle. He seemed to hit the deck on every play of significance. His remarkable performances in the 2006 NBA playoffs earned his team a championship and made Wade one of the most popular players in the league, a spot that he holds to this day. LeBron James and Chris Bosh would join the team, creating the Big Three and bringing 2 more championships to the city of Miami. Over the last year and a half, Dwayne Wade has gone through multiple different teams, signing with the Chicago Bulls, then the Cleveland Cavaliers, and more recently being traded back to the Miami Heat. Number 3. Jerry West. The logo has a laundry list of accomplishments in the NBA. During his brilliant 14-year career, he made the All-Star team each and every year, along with Wilt Chamberlain and Elgin Baylor, led the Los Angeles Lakers to the NBA Finals 9 times, though the Celtics would limit them to only 1 title. He didn't possess world-class size or speed, so West used his work ethic, pure hustle, and determination to transform himself into one of the league's best players. He performed best when it mattered most, and is remembered as one of the most clutch players ever. His half-court heave to tie Game 3 of the 1970s Finals at the buzzer is still remembered as one of the most famous buzzer beaters of all time. His greatness was immortalized as a statue that sits in front of the Staples Center today. Number 2, Kobe Bryant. His pure competitiveness and relentless attitude made Kobe Bryant one of the best players to ever play the game of basketball. The Black Mamba would spend his entire 20-year career with one team, the Los Angeles Lakers. During this time, he turned most defenders into spectators while guiding the Lakers to 5 championships. Many consider his 81-point game against the Toronto Raptors the greatest individual scoring performance in a game, even better than Wilt Chamberlain's 100-point game. His flair for the dramatic and ability to put on a show are unparalleled in the history of the game. Kobe gets some flack for taking a lot of his moves from Michael Jordan, but in a league searching for stars after MJ's departure, no one filled the void better than Kobe Bryant. His personal accomplishments, including being the 3rd leading scorer of all time, one spot ahead of Jordan, speaks for themselves. And now for number 1, Michael Jordan. There's no suspense or mystery here. Nearly any way you look at it, Michael Jordan was the greatest shooting guard, and player of any position for that matter, to play the game of basketball. Isn't it funny that kids coming up today often associate Michael Jordan with nothing more than a meme of his crying face? Though he struggled to win in the playoffs in the first half of his career, the Bulls would pick up Phil Jackson and fellow Hall of Famer Scottie Pippen, and go on a legendary run of dominance. They would earn 6 championships in the 90s and only lost in the playoffs when Jordan was trying to play baseball. Except, of course, the year he returned from baseball, where they lost to the Magic in the Eastern Conference Finals.
Thanks for watching that one, guys. If you did like it, do me a favor and click this link right here to go to my channel, Knowledge Feed, for some more videos just like that.